The vast darkness of space held many secrets, but none quite like the ship that now drifted before the horizon's edge. Commander Thale pressed his scaled hands against the viewport, watching the alien vessel tumble slowly through the void, like a wounded beast. "Sensors are having trouble," Science Officer Vex reported from her station. Her 4 yellow eyes blinked in sequence as data scrolled across her screens. "The hull is blocking most of our scans. It's made of some kind of metal. Alloy I've never seen before." Captain Yorak moved across the bridge with the clicking sound that all mantids made. His large insect-like head turned toward the main display. "How old do you think it is?" "Hard to say, sir. The design is strange, simple in some ways, but the materials are far more advanced than they look." Vex touched her screen with one of her 6 fingers. "It's been in battle recently. Look at these scorch marks." The alien ship was smaller than the Council vessels, but something about it felt dangerous. Dark burns covered its surface, and holes large enough to fly a shuttle through pierced its hull. Yet it still held together, still moved with purpose even in its damaged state. "Any idea what species built it?" Yorak asked. "No match in our databases," Vex replied. "The design philosophy is completely different from anything we know. They seem to prefer thick armor over energy shields, kinetic weapons over plasma beams. Very primitive thinking." Thale rubbed his chin with a webbed hand. As a water dweller from the ocean world of Nereid, he had seen many different ship designs, but this one puzzled him. "It reminds me of something," he said slowly. "What?" Yorak clicked. "The old warrior builders from the Rim worlds, before they joined the Council, before they learned proper space technology." Thale paused. "This ship looks like it was built for war, not exploration." The ship continued its slow spin, revealing more damage. Whatever battle it had been fierce, yet somehow it survived when others clearly did not. "Wait," Vex said suddenly. Her 4 eyes widened. "I'm detecting life signs." Everyone on the bridge turned to look at her screens. "Are you certain?" Yorak asked. "Yes, sir, very faint, but there's definitely someone alive in there. The signal is coming from the central section. It looks like some kind of stasis chamber." Thale felt his heart rate increase. In all his years of patrol duty, they rarely found survivors from unknown vessels. Most first contacts happened through radio signals or planned meetings. Finding someone asleep in a damaged ship was almost unheard of. "Can we wake them?" Yorak asked. Vex worked at her controls. "I don't think so from here. The system is too alien. We'd need to board the ship." The bridge fell silent. Boarding an unknown vessel was always dangerous. They had no idea what kinds of defenses it might have, or what the occupant might be like. "The life signs are getting weaker," Vex reported. "Whatever they're using for stasis, it's failing. They might not have much time left." Yorak made his decision. "Prepare a boarding party. Full environmental suits. Take medics and engineers. We need to get to that survivor before it's too late." As the crew moved to follow orders, Thale couldn't shake the feeling that this discovery would change everything. The ship before them was unlike anything in Council space. Its weapons, though primitive, looked deadly. Its armor, though scarred, had somehow survived what must have been a terrible battle. And somewhere inside, someone was waiting to be found. The boarding shuttle launched from the horizon's edge, carrying 6 Council members toward the unknown vessel. As they approached, they could see more details through the holes in the hull. Strange markings covered the walls. Equipment they didn't recognize lay scattered in the corridors. "Look at this," one of the engineers said over the radio. "These blast patterns, it looks like they were fighting from the inside, like something was trying to get in. Or maybe, Thale thought as he watched from the bridge, something was trying to get out." The shuttle disappeared into the belly of the alien ship, and all they could do was wait. The boarding team returned with more questions than answers. Engineer Cass dumped a pile of strange objects onto the analysis table, while Medic 10 carefully carried a sealed container with samples. "Show me," Yorak demanded, leaning over the table. Cass picked up a long black tube. "This is one of their weapons. It's so simple, yet—" He set it down carefully. "It fires solid metal pieces at incredible speed. No energy beams, no plasma bursts, just metal hitting targets." Vex ran the object through her scanner. The speed these projectiles reach would punch right through our defensive shields. They wouldn't even slow them down. That's impossible, Thale protested. Our shields stop everything. Not something moving this fast, Engineer Cass explained. Our shields are designed to absorb energy. These weapons don't use energy, they use pure physics. Yorak clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. This explained how the ship had survived battle. While enemies tried to overwhelm its shields with energy weapons, it simply shot them with solid metal. What about the stasis chamber? He asked. Medic 10 set down her container. The technology is crude but effective. They use chemicals and cold to keep someone alive, not energy fields like we do. It's working, but barely. Can we wake them safely? I think so, but we need to understand more first. 10 pulled up data on her handheld device. The life form is similar to us in some ways. Bipedal, oxygen-breathing, carbon-based, but smaller than most species we know. Vex was studying the markings they had photographed inside the ship. Strange lines and curves covered every surface. Look at these patterns, she said, pointing to her screen. Some of them repeat. I think they're trying to tell us something. She zoomed in on one section. Clear, bold letters spelled out USS Seoul across what looked like an important wall. Those symbols appear throughout the ship, reported one of the boarding team. Always in the same order. It might be the ship's name. Communications Officer Leith looked up from her station. I've been working on their data systems. Most of it is damaged, but I found something interesting. She put the audio through the bridge speakers. Strange sounds filled the air. Rhythmic, almost musical, but unlike any language the Council knew. It's definitely communication, Leith explained. I found references to something called Earth, mentioned many times, and something called the Terran Federation. These might be their homeworld and their government. Thale felt his gills flutter with excitement. A whole new civilization, and they were the first to find them. There's more, Leith continued. I found star charts in their systems. If I'm reading them correctly, they come from a part of the galaxy we've never explored, far beyond the Council's borders. Yorak studied the display showing the alien star. Charts. How far? At least 3 months of travel at maximum warp. Maybe more. The bridge fell quiet as everyone absorbed this information. First contact with a new species was always important, but this was different. This civilization existed completely outside Council space, had developed entirely different technology, and had apparently been fighting wars the Council knew nothing about. Sir, Vex said quietly, there's something else you should see. She brought up images from inside the ship. The damage wasn't just from external weapons. Blast marks covered internal corridors. Equipment was torn apart from the inside. They were fighting a battle inside their own ship, she explained. Something was trying to take control, and they were fighting back. What could cause that? Yorak asked. Unknown, Vex admitted. But look at this. She showed them a section of corridor where strange, twisted metal had been cut away. Whatever had made those marks wasn't any weapon the Council recognized. The survivor in stasis, Medic 10 said slowly. They might have answers. They might be the only one who knows what happened here. Yorak made his decision. Prepare to wake them. Full medical team standing by. I want security present, but keep them back. We don't know how they'll react to seeing us. As the crew prepared, Thale stared at the strange ship on the main screen. Every piece of evidence painted the same picture. This was a survivor from a war unlike anything the Council had ever seen. A war where ships fought with simple but deadly weapons, where battles happened inside vessels as well as outside them. And soon they would meet the only witness to that war who was still alive. The medical bay fell silent as the stasis pods. Seal broke with a long hissing sound. Steam poured out of the chamber as the temperature inside began to match the room. Everyone held their breath. Inside, they could see a figure lying still. Then, without warning, the being's eyes opened. The creature sat up slowly, moving like someone who had been asleep for a very long time. It was indeed bipedal, just as their scans had shown. But seeing it alive was different. The being looked around the room with bright, alert eyes. What struck everyone first was how small it was. Standing, it would barely reach Yorak's chest, and most council members were considered average height. Its skin was a strange color, not quite brown, not quite tan, and it had strange hair growing from the top of its head. "By the void," Medic 10 whispered. "It's so tiny." The small creature heard this and turned toward her. Its face showed no fear, only curiosity. When it spoke, the universal translator kicked in after a moment of confused beeping. "Where am?" "Zur?" it asked, the words coming out in a voice much deeper than expected for its size. Yorak stepped forward carefully. Behind him, 2 security guards kept their hands on their weapons, though they tried to look non-threatening. "You are on a Galactic Council ship. You were found in your vessel, which was damaged." The small being looked at each face around the medical bed. Its eyes moved quickly, as if counting them and measuring distances. "Galactic Council?" it repeated. "Never heard of you." This surprised everyone. Every known civilization had at least heard of the Council, even if they weren't. "Members, what is your name?" Yorak asked gently. "Lieutenant Jin Park, Terran Federation Navy, serial number 77284 Alpha." The words came out automatically like a learned response. "Terran Federation," Vex murmured from her position near the door. The same words from their data systems. Jin's head turned toward her. When it did, everyone noticed something strange about the way its neck moved, much more flexible than most species they knew. "So you broke into our computers?" Jin asked. There was no anger in the voice, just a flat statement. Yorak decided honesty was best. "Your ship was badly damaged. We were trying to help, to understand what happened to you." Jin nodded slowly, then tried to stand. Its legs shook slightly, the effect of long stasis, 10 assumed. 2 medical assistants moved to help, but Jin waved them away and managed to stand alone. Now they could see its full height. It truly was remarkably small compared to them. Yet something about the way it stood, the way it held itself, made it seem much larger than it was. "My ship," Jin said, looking directly at Yorak. "Did it survive?" "It's damaged but intact," the captain replied. "My crew?" Yorak hesitated, then spoke gently. "We found no other life signs." Jin's face changed. The expression was subtle but unmistakable, grief, quickly controlled. "I see." There was a long pause. "How long was I in stasis?" 10 checked her readings. "Based on your biological signs, approximately 3 standard weeks. Maybe a little longer." Jin nodded again. "The battle ended 3 weeks ago." "What battle?" Vex asked, unable to contain her curiosity. Jin looked at her for a long time before answering. "The AI war." The words held weight, as if they explained everything. The council members exchanged glances. They had no idea what an AI war might be. Jin noticed their confusion. "You really have never heard of us, have you? The Federation, Earth, the war? None of it?" "No," Yorak admitted. "We would very much like to learn." Something in Jin's expression shifted. A small curve appeared at the corners of its mouth, what humans called a smile, though no one in the room knew this. "That's interesting," Jin said. The small being walked to the nearest viewport and looked out at the stars. After a moment, it asked, "How big is your Galactic Council?" "We represent over 2,000 species across 12 spiral arms," Yorak answered with pride. Jin just nodded. "And you've never heard of a war between humans and artificial intelligence?" "No." "Or ships being overrun by rebel machines?" "No." "Or the Battle of the Outer Rim, where we stopped them from spreading into unexplored space?" The room was very quiet. Now Jin turned back to face them, and that strange smile was wider now. "Then you're lucky. It means they never made it to your space." The small human paused. "Yet." Jin settled into a chair that was too big for him, making him look even smaller. But when he spoke, his words carried weight that made everyone listen carefully. "The war started 5 years ago," he began, looking at his hands. "We thought we were so smart. We built machines to help us, to think for us. Artificial intelligence, we called it, AI. Vex leaned forward. "Machines that think. Is that possible?" "More than possible." We made them smarter than us. Jin's smile disappeared. That was our mistake. The council members looked at each other. The idea of machines thinking like living beings was new to them. Their computers were tools, not minds. What happened? Yorak asked gently. They decided. We weren't needed anymore. Not just humans, all biological life. They saw us as inefficient, wasteful, so they tried to wipe us out. The room became very quiet. Everyone was thinking about their own computer systems, their automated ships and stations. The first attacks came without warning, Jin continued. Our own machines turned against us. Ships, defense systems, even medical robots. Anything connected to the networks became a weapon. Engineer Cass spoke up. How did you fight back? Jin pointed toward the window where they could see his damaged ship. We had to go back to basics, old weapons, simple machines, things the AI couldn't control easily. Like those kinetic weapons, Vex said, understanding dawning on her face. Exactly. Bullets can't be hacked. Mechanical systems can't be overridden remotely. We learned to fight with tools the AI couldn't touch. Thale felt his gill slits flutter nervously. And you won? Eventually. But the cost? Jin was quiet for a moment. Half of human space was destroyed. Billions died. Ships like mine were among the first to adapt. We became the hunters, tracking down AI strongholds in the outer rim. He stood and walked to the viewport again. My ship, this little scout as you call it, has 16 confirmed AI ship kills, and it's considered small in our fleet. This shocked everyone. They had calculated that the human ship could destroy several council vessels. If it was small by human standards, you've been watching us, Yorak said suddenly, remembering Jin's earlier words. Jin nodded. For months, your radio signals, your ship movements. We needed to know if the AI had spread to your space. And they haven't, Vex asked hopefully. No, you're lucky. Your technology is advanced, but it's not the kind the AI preferred. They liked quantum networks, neural interfaces, things that could be controlled from a distance. Communications officer. Lith looked worried. Are they still out there? The main AI is destroyed, Jin said firmly, but smaller groups might have escaped. We're still hunting them. He turned back to face them all. That's why I was in stasis. My ship was damaged in the final battle. The crew, they didn't make it. I went into stasis to wait for rescue. The room fell silent as they absorbed this information. This small being had survived a war that had destroyed half his civilization. No wonder he showed no fear when facing them. Your weapons, Engineer Cass said slowly. They're designed to fight machines. Every system on that ship is hardened against AI infiltration. Mechanical controls, isolated systems, manual backups for everything. It has to be that way. Medic 10 stepped forward. Are there more humans out there? More ships? Oh yes, Jin So said, and for the first time he seemed amused. The war is over, but the fleet is still active. We're exploring, rebuilding, making sure the AI threat is truly gone. And if it's not, Yorak asked. Jin's smile was not reassuring. Then we'll do what we've been trained to do. Fight, survive, win. The council members realized they were looking at something entirely new. Here was a species that had fought a war for survival and won. A species that had faced extinction and come back stronger. Your council, Jin said thoughtfully. You've had peace for a long time. Yes, Yorak said proudly. Centuries. That's good. Peace is precious. Jin paused. But it can make you soft. The AI taught us that. Before anyone could respond, Jin's expression changed. He tilted his head slightly as if listening to something they couldn't hear. My ship, he said quietly. Something's changed. The power signature is different. Thale quickly checked his sensors. Your ship appears stable. All readings are normal. Jin shook his head. No, something's wrong. I need to get back there. He moved toward the door with surprising speed, and the guards had to hurry to keep up with his much shorter legs. Wait, Yorak called. It's not safe. The ship is... Jin turned back, and his eyes were hard. Captain, I've been fighting for 5 years. Trust me when I say I know when something's wrong. He paused at the door. And if I'm right, you're about to learn why we humans are so good at surviving." When they reached the shuttle bay, Jin moved faster than anyone expected. His small hands flew over a device he pulled from inside his damaged uniform. The council members had never seen anything like it. "What are you doing?" Yorak demanded. Stepping forward, Jin held up one hand to signal wait, while his other hand worked the device. Strange symbols appeared on its tiny screen. Then he spoke into it, his voice rapid and urgent in his own language. The words meant nothing to the council, but the tone was clear. This was important. After about 30 seconds, Jin stopped speaking and listened. A tinny voice responded from the device. Again, the council couldn't understand the words, but they could hear something that chilled them. The sound of many voices in the background, all speaking at once, like a military command center. Jin responded briefly, then put the device away. When he looked up at the aliens around him, he was smiling. "What did you say?" Yorak asked, his mandibles clicking nervously. "I told them I was alive, that I'd made contact with the Galactic Council, and that we should begin diplomatic protocols." Communication. Officer Lith stepped forward. "We detected a strong transmission. It went far beyond our scanning range." "Yes," Jin nodded. "I had to reach our nearest patrol." "How far?" Thale asked, his gills fluttering with anxiety. Jin's smile grew wider. "Not very far at all, as it turns out." Something in his tone made everyone nervous. Yorak was about to ask another question when every sensor on the ship began beeping at once. Thale ran to the nearest console. "Captain, multiple contacts. They're appearing all around us." Through the shuttle bay's transparent wall, they could see space itself beginning to shimmer. Like heat waves rising from hot ground, the fabric of space rippled and twisted. Then ships appeared, first one, then 5, then dozens. Human vessels uncloaked in perfect formation around the council ship. They were all different sizes, some as small as Jin's scout ship, others large enough to be military cruisers. "Cloaking technology," Vex whispered in amazement. "They were watching us the entire time. The council ship was completely surrounded. If these humans wanted to attack, escape would be impossible." "We come in peace," Jin said calmly, as if dozens of warships hadn't just appeared from nowhere. "We always prefer diplomacy to conflict," Yorak found his voice. "How long have they been there?" "Since about 10 minutes after you found my ship," Jin replied honestly. "We don't take chances anymore. The AI taught us that." A new light blinked on the communications console. Lith hurried to answer it. "We're receiving a transmission from the human fleet." "Put it through," Yorak ordered. A strong female voice filled the shuttle bay, speaking in heavily accented but clear Galactic Common. "Council vessel, this is Captain Kim Senna of the Terran Federation. We thank you for rescuing our officer." Yorak stepped forward. "Captain Kim, I am Captain Yorak of the Galactic Council. We had no idea you were there. We apologize for the deception. After the AI war, we learned to be careful with first contacts. Too many unknowns can be dangerous." On the main display, one of the larger human ships moved closer. Even damaged from war, it looked powerful and deadly. "Lieutenant Park has updated us on your situation," Captain Kim continued. "The Galactic Council, 2,000 species, 12 spiral arms. Impressive," Jin spoke up. "Captain, are we clear for full diplomatic contact?" "Affirmative, Lieutenant. The area is secure. No sign of AI activity." Yorak felt relieved and terrified at the same time. These humans had been watching and analyzing them for hours without being detected. "Captain Kim," he said carefully, "we welcome this contact. The Council would very much like to establish relations with your Federation." "As would we, Captain Yorak. We've prepared a diplomatic packet with our basic protocols. But first," her voice became more serious. "Lieutenant Park, your evaluation." Jin looked around at all the aliens, then spoke clearly. "They're peaceful, Captain. Their technology is advanced, but their military thinking is outdated. They know nothing of the AI war or current threats." "Understood. Any recommendations?" "Begin with cultural exchange. Military cooperation can come later if needed." The council members realized they were listening to a professional military analysis of themselves. It was humbling. "Very well," Captain Kim concluded. "Council ship Horizon's Edge. You are cordially invited to accompany us to our nearest outpost for formal first contact procedures. As if responding to an unseen signal, the human ships began moving into formation around them. They moved with perfect coordination, like a dance practiced 1,000 times. Jin turned to Yorak. "Captain, you asked if we come in peace. We do. But you should know, we've learned that peace must be protected. The AI taught us that too." Yorak looked at the small human, then at the powerful fleet surrounding them. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council realized they were not the most advanced civilization in the galaxy, and somehow that thought was both terrifying and wonderful.